Here we go. So today I'm going to focus on feet, mostly feet and calves today. So we're going to do a lot of lower leg stuff today. So starting with, let me adjust this a little bit and cut out my head, but you guys are used to that. So I'm going to start with the ball. You can't see the ball on my blue mat, but here it is. Okay. And I'm going to roll the feet. Again, focusing on ball of the foot, the heel of the foot. I want you to use the wall because I want you to go a little bit deeper today and scrub or scrape just a little bit more, get a little bit more deep into those tissues that are tight. Okay, and I want you to do 5 or 6 back and forth with those toes pulled up. All right, so really pulled up, exposing those tissues and digging in just a little bit. And then do 5 or 6 with the toes just relaxed. Just let them hang out. And get into those spaces, the inner thigh, or sorry, the inner arch, the outer edge out there, and all those nooks and crannies, and just scrape back and forth. And again, use that wall just so you don't have to think about it so much. You're not leaning into it, but it's just there. And you're just going to dig a little deep. Okay? So still on the same foot. Make sure you're working on your breath. Bring it down, big inhales and exhales. If it's elevated from the work you just did, make sure you're consciously trying to slow it down a little bit. And think with the exhales that you're sending any kind of tightness away. Okay, so we're rolling this. Good. So now we're going to go back to any spots that felt tight. Okay? And we're going to do what I call polka dots. So you're going to step onto it and then step off. Move the ball to a new spot. Step onto it, move the toes, and step off. And when I say move the toes, don't just wiggle them, not really thinking about it, but actually try to lift and spread those toes. Get as much stretching and movement out of them as you can. Okay, so here I'm really lifting and spreading toes. I can even feel my quads activated as I move those toes. I'm lifting and spreading them nice and wide. I'm just trying to find all little tight spots. Right now the ball is way down on the outside corner, just above my heel, and I'm really moving the toes. And I can feel that release here on the outside edge around my knee. All right, move it to the inside. I'm going to feel release on the opposite, on the inside. All right, just do a couple more here. Good. Now we're going to take that ball just below the ball of the foot. So the ball of the foot is here. I'm going to put the ball right underneath it, and we're going to take that ball and just let it go underneath the ball of that foot, rolling side to side. So again, a lot of this movement is going to be from the hip, and that's okay. All right? Because what we want to focus on is the ball massaging the tissues right under the foot. But then as we get going, can we get more of that movement to come from the ankle? And that's a controlled movement back and forth. All right, and I've got less hip movement going here. But if you need to move the hip to get that ball going from side to side, then go ahead and do that, because that's our focus. Our focus is massaging the tissues in the bottom of the foot, right there below the ball of the foot. Good. And now we're going to take the ball right in the middle of the ball. So we're going to pull it up a little bit. And we're going to reach down. Imagine you're going to pick up that ball with your foot. So you're going to curl up your toes, lift the top of your foot up, and then do the reverse. Press the top of your ball, your foot down, lift the toes. Okay, and then pick the ball up and throw it down. And pick the ball up and throw it down. So when you pick it up, you're kind of rocking back up off the ball. And as you throw it down, you're rocking on to the ball. So pick it up, throw it away. Pick it up, throw it away. Let's do 2 more. Pick it up, throw it away, and pick it up and throw it away. Good. Shake out that foot and the leg. Right? Do a little one leg standing. Feel the difference between the sides. Right? Side you just roll that foot, ankle, calf, maybe even the quad. Should feel a lot more awake and alive. Right? Just on my left side, I feel a lot more unstable. And all we did was work the bottom of the foot. Okay? Go ahead and switch. So switching sides, same thing. Follow the foot to heel the foot. Use the wall there. Remember, we're scraping the tissues. I want you to go maybe just a little bit deeper today than you've gone in the past. And just as you go back and forth, can you dig that ball in just a little bit more? Going back and forth, inside arch, outside edge. And your breath. Okay, feeling for tight spots, for places you're going to go back to with that polka dot. I got a lot in this inside space on this foot. So now when I go back, I'm going to target those spaces. Rock on, rock off. Rock on, wiggle the toes, rock off. Rock on, wiggle and spread those toes wide, rock off. Good. Just a few more here. Good. Alright, so now ball right in the ball of the foot, or right below the ball of the foot, I'm sorry. So this is the ball of the foot. We're going to put the ball just below it towards the heel. And we're going to roll, right? Big toe to pinky toe. And again, a lot of that movement comes from the hip, and that's okay. Focus is on getting that ball to move across the tissues. Right? And then as we work, when you look down, and encourage that ankle to do as much of that movement as possible. Right, in to out. Breathing. Good, okay. Now, right under the ball of the foot, so pull it up a little bit so it's right in the center of the ball. And you're gonna, again, pick up the ball. So when you pick up, imagine you're picking the back of the top of your foot up, right? And then throw it down. And pick it up. And throw it down. Good, and pick it up. And throw it down. Good, and pick it up. And throw it down. And let's just do a couple more here. Pick it up. Throw it down. And last one. Pick it up. And throw it down. Good. All right, so shake that leg out. Give it a good shake. And then just do that single leg stance test again for me. You feel the difference between the two sides. Now both sides should feel a little bit more awake. Right? Alert. So not just in the feet and ankle, calves, but you can feel it up into the quads and hips as well too. All right, so we're going to continue rolling. We're going to come down to the floor and using your yoga brick or your stack of books, whatever you have, we're going to target now the calf muscle, okay? So basically two muscles in the calves that we want to work on. The bigger one is your gastroc, right? That's the one when you grab your calf muscle, you can feel that right there on the outside. And the other one is an underlying muscle called your soleus. And the soleus is basically when your Achilles starts to change into muscle tissue, and it goes underneath that gastroc muscle. That's your soleus. Your soleus is the one primary mover in the ankle in that flexion, okay, dorsiflexion pattern. This one. Okay, so we're going to focus on gastroc first. Okay, so you're just going to put the ball on top of the brick, move it around in spaces. And what the brick does is just elevates that surface a little bit, makes it a little bit easier to get into those tissues. If it's not working for you, you want to just put it on the floor, you're more than welcome to change. Just that the higher surface just allows you to get into those tissues a little bit more. Okay, so I'm just looking, kind of just moving around the space here on the side and feeling, just like I did in the foot, feeling for tight spots, okay? So I've got one right here. So I'm going to press and hold, and then when I press, I'm not pressing it down super hard. I'm going to press and hold, and then see what I'm doing is moving at the ankle, right? So I'm doing that pin and stretch, and how I'm stretching is moving the ankle so that those gastroc muscles are lengthening, right? So then I'm going to move around. Now I'm going to try to find something on the outside. I've got a spot right here. Same thing, press, hold, and I'm going to add that movement. I move it in both directions through the ankle, going in circles here. Right, and take the ball all the way up to this outside edge, right up here, right towards the back of the knee, work in that space. And same thing on the inside, same height, right below the knee, and move around. Good. So now I'm going to take the gastroc, kind of move it out of the way. So I'm going to grab it and pull it in. So if it was on this side, you can see it. I'm going to grab it and pull it to the inside. And then that moves that muscle just a little bit out of the way. So I can put the ball now kind of right where that gastric muscle would lie. And then I'm targeting the soleus, right? So I can really feel that here. Got some tightness here on the outside, pushing straight down and then moving. So we talked about that soleus is the primary mover, right, with our flexion of our feet. And that's something we don't want to lose, right? That's where we trip and fall. So I'm working in the space. I'm just kind of going vertical, up and down, and you can see me move it just a little bit in that vertical pattern. But then I'll stop and enjoy and work on that flexion a little bit, right? Just a little bit longer on this leg, and then we'll go ahead and switch. And remember my rule here in this class is you do what your body needs. Give your body what it needs. So if you have one side that has a lot more tightness than the other, please spend the extra time on that. You don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing. Big goal of this class is just to have you learn more about your body, increase your self-awareness, and give your body what it needs. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the other side. Same thing, I'm going to target that gastroc first. But if you already know that, hey, I know that my ankles are really tight, my Achilles have been feeling stiff, you might want to go right into that soleus tissue and dig right in there. Okay? So we're going to be here for about a minute and a half. Just like the other side. And I encourage you to just find the spaces that you need to work on, exploring everywhere. And if you're like most people, especially like me, one side is going to feel completely different than the other. So again, self-awareness, learning about your body. Where are you tight? How can you relieve it? And then the third step is, why do you feel that tightness in certain places? Do you consistently feel tight on the outside of your right calf? And why is that? That's part of this whole learning cycle here. Big inhales and exhales. So just about 30 more seconds. So take the time here if you want to go back to that first side. Really trying to dig into the tissues here. On this side, I'm right up against that big shin bone, my tibia. And that ball is just nuzzled right up next to that inside edge. I'm finding lots of tightness in there. I didn't have it on the right side. Definitely have it here. So like I said, just explore, work, and find out what your body needs. All right. So I'm going to have us stand up again. We're going to do some stretching on the wall. But before we do that, we're going to go back to, now the ball here is an option. We're going to go back to the ball of the foot. But again, this is an option. If it doesn't work for you, you can take the ball out. So what we're going to do is a little bit of that polka dot. But what I'm going to encourage you to do is take your other foot and just kind of, either just kind of rub, or maybe put a little bit more weight, right? But what I want you to do is kind of grip the top skin of that foot, the bottom foot, and move it around. So if I had my hands or my foot, I'm kind of using the friction of the bottom of my foot to kind of move things around on the top of the foot. Okay? So what we're doing is just kind of working, stretching the top of the foot as well. There's fascia there too. That's, guess what, connected to the bottom. So again, you can do this without the ball underneath. And so I'm just kind of stroking, do a little bit back and forth, targeting the top of the foot here. That outer edge. Nothing super hard. I'm not making myself, gasp for air because it hurts too much. Just kind of working the top of the foot. All right, let's switch. Do the same thing on the other side. Right. Again, ball is optional. And then I'm just gonna use that top foot. Think of it as a little kind of clumsy massage, right? My feet are certainly not as nimble as my hands, but my point is just kind of grab the skin on the top of the foot, move it around a little bit. My big toe kind of up towards the webbing of my toes, working in that space. And then I'm going to move back by my ankle, right? The top of my ankle that we talked about before, working in that space as well. And again, just kind of grabbing the skin on the top there. And let it grip and twist and move around. And again, should feel good. I'm going to do some just little strokes. Good. All right. So we're going to put that ball off to the side for now. Now we're going to work on stretching the feet. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple different options here. First one, using your wall. All 10 toes are going to face forward. You're going to put one foot behind the other. We're going to focus on that back foot as our stretching side. Okay, so I'm going to push toes into the floor and I take my heel up to the ceiling. So it's like I'm taking off in a run, right? But I'm going to pause right here at the top and imagine somebody's picking me up by the very back of my heel going straight into the ceiling. Toes down, heel up, stretching the bottom of my foot here. I take 3 big inhales and exhales. Good. Now I'm going to flip it. So the tops of my toes are now going to go down. And that front ankle space, that we'll talk about right here, I'm going to kick that forward to the wall. So imagine I'm taking a big kick. My toes get caught on the floor, on that sticky pad. Then I'm going to kick the hip forward. So feel that stretch right on the top of the foot. 3 breaths. Good, and just go ahead and switch. So the same thing as if I was going to take off running. I'm going to push my toes down, lift my heel up, hips forward, and we're running forward. So maybe even squeeze that back to the press forward. 3 breaths. And then tops of the toes on the floor, front of the ankle forward. Good, and then just spend a little bit of time, top of the foot, bottom of the foot, right? You can still face the wall. I'm just giving you a different view here. So here I'm stretching the top of the foot, and here I can maybe go a little rotating in and out, and bottom of the foot. Good. Okay, so now we're going to take that brick or books or whatever you have. I'm going to angle mine here on the wall. You don't have to do that. You can put it right here flat on the mat. You're going to put your ball of the foot on the brick, heel to the floor, excuse me, and you're just going to let that heel drop down. So I'm just letting gravity pull me down. Got my knee straight here. I can do the same thing with that brick kind of on an angle of the wall. And then you're right up against the wall, kind of kissing the wall as we do it here. Okay? So I'm just going to stay here just so for ease of me seeing what I'm doing and you see what I'm doing. Have a big inhale, exhale. I'll do 3 breaths with the knees straight. And then 3 breaths with the knee just bent. And when you bend your knee, try to keep the heel in the same position. So the heel is still on the floor, it doesn't lift up. What you're going to do when you bend that standing knee, so this knee here, right? You feel that stretch down into the Achilles. So 3 breaths here. Good, and then come on up, shake that foot out. Same thing on the other side. Right, so you're going to put the front half of your foot on the brick or books or whatever you have, and just drop your heel to the floor. Right, so the heel is not on the books or brick. You're just going to drop down. So think about being stacked ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and then that hip is straight over the knee right now. Okay, so you can see my back leg. That's my leg that's stretching. Heel over hip. Just let gravity pull down. Toes are spread wide. That'll work on whatever surface you have, the brick or the books. Right, and then we're going to go knee bend. And see when I bend my knee, my heel wants to pop up, right? So I'm going to try to bend my knee, but still actively press my heel down to the floor. And I want to feel that stretch, right? All from the Achilles up into that lower calf muscle. Again, with the knee bent, we're targeting that soleus muscle with the knee straight, targeting the gastroc, right? So here. I don't know about you, but that stretch gets my calves and my Achilles, my ankles better than any other stretch that I've done. Okay, so let's again go back to standing on one leg, standing on the other, feeling the feet, right? Feel like those all 10 toes or all 5 toes, I guess, at a time are active. Feel grip into the floor, right? We want to use them here. Right? So imagine if you were standing on your hands, right? Your fingers wouldn't just hang out there. Like you wouldn't want them like this, right? You want them spread. You want them gripping the ground. But our toes, but fingers on our feet, right? So we want to use those toes as we stand, as we move throughout our day. All right. So, moving on. I'm going to grab that strap or towel, whatever you have. And we're going to continue to stretch the calf, right? Using that towel. You get a little stretch here through the hamstring as well, but again, we're focusing on the lower leg today. So, grabbing your strap, your towel, whatever you have, you're going to put it right on the ball of the foot. So mine's just below the ball of the foot, and I'm going to come back to the floor. Okay, so my knee is bent right now. I'm not really worried about stretching my hamstring. It'd be a nice stretch here, but I'm not focusing on that. What I'm going to focus on is here, pulling the toes to the shin, and then pointing away. Okay, so I'm doing this motion. Yeah, you can see it on my screen. Okay, so I'm pointing my toes up, and I'm pulling them back down. So when I pull down, I'm going to pull on that towel or strap a little bit, and then as I point them up, right, I'm going to release that tension a little bit, and then pull and release and pull. Okay, so you can feel that stretch, movement in the ankle. Now we're targeting the front of the shin as well, a little bit of that tibialis anterior, which is the front there, right? Point toes up, pulling down, and I'm going to do a little in and out movement, right? So big toe in, pinky toe out. Just going a little rotating in and out, right? So a little up, down, a little side to side. And just a little bit longer here. Good, and go ahead and switch sides. Same thing, so I've got it just below the ball of my foot, right? Just making sure that my hip, back of my hip is planted into the mat. And then whatever works with this other leg, it can be straight out, it can be whatever feels comfortable to you. And again, we're focusing on the ankle movement here, right? So pulling the toes to the shin, and then pointing them back up. Right? Flexion, and then we're going to go a little eversion, inversion, eversion, in and out. And I don't have so much tension on that towel or strap that this is very, very difficult. I just put a little resistance here as I move in different directions. God, just a little bit longer. Now my ankle, my front here is getting actually very tired through this movement. But, all right, so we're going to take that strap off, rock up, flip over. So now this is where, if you need a little extra padding, you can grab a pillow or something. We're going to come into a kneel, and we're going to target the back of the foot first, or the bottom of the foot first. And what I want you to do here is try to keep your feet as close together as you can, and then toes tucked, and we're just going to sit back on the ankles, right? Now I've got my toes tucked underneath. I'm going to sit back, and you can easily control how much pressure you're putting here, right? And you can come up, adjust your feet, come back down. Okay, stay as long as you want, come up when you need. Focus is on stretching the bottoms of the feet here. I'm going to do about 20 more seconds here. This toes tucked under. But now I'm going to untuck my toes, tops of my feet into the floor. And again, I'm going to try to keep my ankles kind of pinned together if I can. Now I'm going to sit back. My hips on the heels, top of my foot flat, reaching for the mat. Really get it. I'm getting a deep stretch here. If this was my foot, I'm getting a deep stretch right here in that front ankle space. Now you can also take a pillow and put it here between your hips and your heels, and coming up, taking a break whenever you need. All right, just about 20 more seconds here. Good. And then coming to all fours, and we're going to bring your knees out in distance, tucking the toes, and we're going to press the floor away and just come up into down dog. So in here, down dog, we're actively lifting the tailbone to the floor. And as we lift the tailbone up, I want you to push the heel down, right? And again, you've got, just like you have in your hands, right? Hands are spread, fingers are spread. Your fingertips are gripping the floor, so I want you to mimic that, what your hands are doing in your feet, right? And just shift from side to side so you can focus on one foot at a time. Make sure your big toe is active here, just like your thumbs are a little bit active. All the way up to the pinky toe active. And scoop the belly, send the tailbone up. Take opposition here as the tailbone goes up, the heels go down. Rocking to the inside of the foot, maybe the outside of the foot. And take a break whenever you need. We're going to be here for about 20 more seconds. Good. And then coming down, and we can do a couple more reps here. Stretching the top of the foot. And we just targeted the bottom of the foot and the calf. So this is targeting the top of the foot into the front of the shin as well. Let's do a few more here, and then we're going to finish up focusing on our breath. Good. All right, so I'm going to flip over. I'm going to use my brick here. Now, this is an option. You can use your brick or your books. You can choose to just put your feet up on the wall, whatever is going to be comfortable for you. We're going to focus on the breath here at the end. Okay? So if you're using the brick or the books, you're going to bridge out, slip that into the space so that you're going to put it right there underneath your lumbar spine. Okay? So basically underneath your pelvis. Your pelvis should feel fully supported here by whatever you're on. Like it doesn't need to move things around. Find a space that you can basically relax in, right? And feel like you're supported. Okay, so knees bent, feet flat. Arms in whatever position feels comfortable to you. I encourage you to find a position where those shoulders can just relax and roll open instead of being rolling forward like they are through most of your day. Now we're going to work on the breath. And always starting our breath here in the belly. Filling the belly and then taking it into the space between the belly and the ribs, that diaphragm. And then continue the breath into the rib cage, long space. Fully expanding front to back, side to side. And then exhale, starting with the ribs and lungs. Pressing out, releasing that air. down towards your belly. And then as you get to the belly, think about the belly button coming in. Think about the pelvic floor pulling up. As you get rid of that last bit of air. Right? And then adjust your body. Maybe wiggle side to side, maybe lengthen out through the upper body. Can you create more length here through your spine? And then go into the next breath. Big inhale. And exhale. All right. If you're finding this space relaxing, I encourage you to stay here a little bit longer. Focus on your breath. Big inhales and exhales. Did a lot of work on the feet, calves today, so hopefully you feel that difference. Not just in that space we worked, but other spaces higher up as well. And I wish you all a wonderful rest of the day. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.